Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Do you want to sit down or anything?
We can.
You can sit. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Great. Right in front of the fireplace.
Perfect.
Look at this cozy little
is.
situation we have going on.
It's
here.
great. It makes me feel right at home.
You are at home.
That's true.
That
With
is
you.
true.
So just off the bat, I wanted to ask how the recording process on Hell Mode differed from that of your previous albums, because it was in a new location, right? It wasn't what you were used to.
No, but like we did that on Worry too. We went up to this like big kind of cheap recording studio for this like giant amazing house like on the cliffs in Northern California, like overlooking a beach and stuff. And this time we're just kind of like, I don't know, just trying to think about things that we would, or like things to do now, just because like we have the opportunity to do it, because like things are going good. It's like, oh shit, we should try. Oh, also I should try not to swear. I realize it's radio.
It's
Sorry,
fine. We can censor it.
Okay, cool. But like I don't know. We're just like, I don't, and also I just moved to LA, so it was like, well, there's a bunch of like kind of like historic recording studios that have done all these crazy records that we have access to now. Let's see what it would sound like if we did something there. But it didn't really, aside from the location, like it wasn't that much different. Like in the like wide scope of it, like we still did the thing that we always do, which is like we got together at a practice space for like 4 days. We played through the songs ad nauseum until like we all really knew what we wanted to do, until we could like play it over and over and over, that we could play it good, and then just picked up all that stuff, put it in a different place, and like played through it again. That's kind of how we make all of our records. We track them live as the band, and then it's just like, the idea is just like not trying to get in your head about it and just do what you did at practice, but now do it here. And then like on kind of like more detail levels, like we usually all do it live in the room, but there are like a few songs where we're like, hey, well, it would be cool if we like could get just to try and get a different drum sound, to just put amps in another room for the first time in a while, and just kind of be like, oh, what does this sound like? And just try and get a bigger thing. So we experimented a little bit more, like amps and pedals and snares and all that kind of thing. But I don't know that was necessarily because of the space that we were in versus just like what the songs and like what we were thinking of having them sound like, you know what I mean? But like but like vibe wise, it was a totally different thing, because like, you know, we're making this record, and like one day it's like Angela Bassett is there doing like voiceover recordings for something, or like I think Ringo Starr was walking around one day. Like I didn't see him. Did you guys see him? He was there. So it was like, you know, there's weird stuff like that, but like at the end of the day, we're still like, hey, wouldn't it be funny if we like set up this $30,000 microphone and banged a trash can into it? Like that was kind of our vibe. It was like, how do we be dumb in this very fancy space for smart people, you know?
For sure. Exactly like everything else. And then also like Worry, this was your first time doing a traditional rollout of an album with things like Post and what was it, No Dream? You just kind of soft dropped them. Yeah. What made you decide to do it for this one?
I don't know. It like we've been on Polyvinyl for a few records, and I haven't really given them the chance to like do their job. So that was like a big thing about it. Was just like, okay, let's see what happens when we do it this way. And also we had some time, because I was working on the movie score for Craig of the Creek. So we had a bunch of time that we weren't going to be on tour. So that seemed like a good time to like, okay, we'll have the time to do it. We won't want to be like, okay, let's put it out now so we can, because we're just going to keep being on the road. You know what I mean? But also, like, I don't know. It was just see what it was like. I'm not sure I particularly liked it. I'm not sure we'll really do that again. But, like, I think it's good to dip your toes in every now and then to just see what things are like if you do things in a traditional way every now and then. Just be like, what is this? Does this work for me? I'm not sure if it necessarily works for me, but it was interesting to try it. That's for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Is there a chance for a ska mode next year?
No, there's no chance. Like I keep, like, the thing that I keep coming back to is that like the way Ska Dream worked out was really beyond anything that like I was like, okay, maybe like people will be like, oh, that's fun. And like that was like my highest expectations for it. I didn't think like it was gonna. I didn't think people were gonna really like it. I thought people were gonna be like, oh, that's fun. Okay, move on. And it went really good. We got to play like ska shows and stuff like that. And I think that when something works out like that, you don't poke the bear a second time. You're just like, okay, let's cut our losses. That one worked out good. It's like kind of my strategy at like a casino or something. Like if I win, I'm like, all right, cool. I won a hand. I'm out. See you guys. You know what I mean?
And it worked out great.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I love Ska Dream.
Ska Dream. We all like Ska Dream. It was fun.
It's a fun record.
Fun one to do.
Earlier this year, you led the tirade against venues taking merch cuts from smaller performers or performers in general.
Yeah,
and
tiny performers.
Yeah, I was wondering what made you decide to do that now.
Very specifically, Christine, who does our merch and tour management and stuff, like we were just talking about it, and she sent me a list of the merch cuts. She's like, "This is fucking bullshit." I was like, "Yeah, this is effing bull bad." And she was like, "You should just post this." I was like, "I should just post this." We talked, and we were just like, "Let's do it." And we all talked as a band. Everybody in the band, like nobody along the way was like, "Don't post it." We were all like, "Yeah, we should post it." I think like it was just because we were looking at all of it, and we had jumped up in venue sizes in a lot of places to meet demand, and because of that, we were going to have to start charging more for merch that we were selling, because some of these venues are taking, when you like add in like a credit card fee that they I like if they're selling, or add in like tax and add in all these extra things, like they're taking upwards of like 40% of the money from it. And if you're trying to sell it at a price that anybody can afford, like at that point you're just working and like nothing's coming in. And like this is stuff that, we make the merch, we produce the merch, we do the designs, like we do all the work ourselves. Like nobody is helping us with this. Like, so, we looked at that list, and it's something that has been like merch cuts have been happening for a little while now, but they keep getting bigger and bigger. And I think people are afraid to speak about it because, we do all really appreciate playing shows. And I think that like, you want to have a good rapport with the venue, and like everybody, like it all, like we like our shows when we're here, like we're all friends with each other and we're all having a nice time. We're having a good day. We're lucky to be doing this. And it really does feel like that generally with the staffs of the venues and with us. And I think because that's how people want to feel, you don't want to speak up about it because you don't want to be told you can't play here anymore. You don't want to like bring bad vibes. But then like as people don't bring it up, it like you watch the number get bigger, and I feel like I have personally watched the number go from 10% to 20%, and then 20% plus sales tax, then 20% plus tax, plus is like BS credit card processing fee that like I know how much that costs and I know what they're charging me. I know that's the wrong number, and it's like how long before it just gets bigger and bigger if nobody says anything. So we're like, all right, let's jump on the grenade. Let's say something, you know.
And it worked. Live Nation.
Yeah,
cut all their
100% to our credit. Live Nation has stopped doing merch cuts, and capitalism is destroyed. I don't know if it worked, but like ultimately I'm happy that it got the conversation started a little bit more, because a lot like we're not the only people talking about this. You know what I mean? It's nice that people are talking about it, because it's just literally robbery, and there's no reason for it.
It was your Instagram post that made the Pitchfork article.
Well, I don't know. A bunch of people read that article.
That's true. When you first
try and tell me I helped somebody.
When you first started writing music as Jeff Rosenstock and started touring, you did that like solo acoustic tour for a while. And I was wondering what made you want to form Death Rosenstock as a band after doing that.
I had just written a record, and I wanted to like I just played in Bruce Lee band with Mike and Kevin, and I'd always wanted to play in a band with Mike, and Kevin was such a quick, like sick, amazing drummer, and John I've been playing in bands with for forever, and I'd made a record. I'd made We Cool at home, like with like a drum machine, like kind of I Look Like Shit style, and it was like, I showed it for really like, it's good, and I was like, okay, and then like Bomb had played, my old band Bomb the Music Industry had played these last shows, and I had like a rare burst of like confidence in music because those shows went good. I was like, oh, maybe I could do this stuff. And Mike had just recorded with this guy, Jack Shirley. His band Hard Girls had recorded with him. And I had like, he had recorded that Deaf Heaven record, Sunbather, which I was a really big fan of. He recorded the Classics of Love 12-inch, which I was also a really big fan of. And when I heard the Hard Girls record, 1,000 Surfaces, like Mike had sent it to me before it had come out. I was just like, damn, man, can I make a record with this guy? And Mike was like, sure, you should just give him a call. And like I gave him a call, and sure enough, this guy is like really, really nice. And now he's like a really, really close friend. But at the time, like I had just been so used to doing everything like on my own or in Bomb, like having done it with Tom, our guitar player, and just really like, you know, taking it all on ourselves. And I was just like, okay, well, let's take a gamble and let's try and do it in a real studio. And I just hope this guy doesn't like make fun of me. And then, you know, we ended up, it was me, Mike, and Kevin and John, because we were all just like, all right, this will be fun. And we did a little tour afterwards to get basically to me and John had a friend who was getting married in Las Vegas. And we're like, yeah, it'd be fun to play some shows with Hard Girls. And we'll travel from the Bay where we recorded, and we'll travel down to Las Vegas, and we'll go to this wedding, and we won't have to pay to fly to Vegas. And along the way, like when we were playing our show in LA, the record label Side One Dummy had emailed me like that day. It was like, yo, I heard you have demos for a new record. You want to send them over? I was like, we just finished the record. Just wait like a week. Do you want to come to the show? And then they ended up coming to the show, and then all of them were in Las Vegas during that wedding because Punk Rock Bowling was happening. And all this stuff just kind of started happening. And like, I know personally, I was just like, oh, all right, well, let's see where this goes. And we're kind of still just like on that now that we're like, oh, wow. Like it wasn't like a very like, all right, we're going to do this now. It was just kind of like, oh, damn, is this thing going? All right, hop on. Let's go, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm grateful that we're all still doing it and still making music together.
For sure. You brought up Bomb the music industry. I want to leave the past, let the past be the past. But I have two questions for you.
Yes.
At the end of the Never Get Tired documentary, we see that last performance of Future 86.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to know what, as a performer on that stage, what was going through your mind in that moment.
Oh, I was just feeling really emotional. You know, I had like, I'll tell you, and I won't name names, but like I got into like an argument with a band member on stage right before we started playing that song. Somebody in the band said something very, very mean to me. And then we played the song, and then we were done. I was like, that is the most Bomb the music industry ass way to end our career. But it was just, I don't know. It was emotional. I was just grateful anybody was there, man. Like, I don't, like, you know, I don't go into, I don't know if it's a self-esteem thing or some, like, really great humility thing. I think it's the first one, but like I don't go into this stuff with expectations. So like those last bunch of shows kind of blew me away. There was definitely a moment that our front of house Rick's partner makes fun of me about, where I was like crying at a bar in between those last two shows. I was like, what did I do? This band, I think people liked it. What did I do? But like, you know, I think on stage it was just like, it's fun. It was just fun to be around my friends, and just it was a big feeling, you know. Yeah. And also I was like, all right, this thing's done. Like it also felt nice that we had like ended it on our own terms, and we never really had to like. I didn't think Bomb ever got lame, and that was good. That's cool to me.
I would agree. Yeah.
Thanks.
And then I guess my Bomb the music industry questions are really never get tired questions. I just wanted to know how that came to be, and how were you notified of all of that? Because I know it was a Kickstarter project for a few years. And
John, I might ask John to hop in on this one if I am answering things wrong, but what I believe happened, like Sarah, who's a documentarian, was just at a show one day and was like, hey, I'm making a documentary about your band. And we're like, that's cool. And then we were essentially like, well, that's really cool that you're doing that. How can we help? And then we kind of started working together on stuff. You know, we tried to help push the Kickstarter. We invited her out on tours and stuff. We started hanging more because she was just hanging, and we thought it was really nice that somebody wanted to make a movie about this little thing that we were doing. Am I missing anything about how Sarah kind of came into the fray? She was just there one day, right?
She just kind of showed up, and we're like, well, if you're going to make this movie, you might as well get on in the van and make the movie. If you're going to do this, do it. And she was all about it, and she did a full U.S. tour with us, and then she did the only time we went as a full band overseas. So she saw it all. And none of that overseas stuff is in the movie.
The overseas stuff was so that's its own movie because that tour was bad.
Was it? Yeah, I was about to say I didn't remember seeing any of that.
No, I think the way like her and Amy, my friend who edited it, were talking about, they're like, it was like 20 minutes. It was like its own thing, and like the only way to make the movie like you couldn't cut some of it out, and the movie was too long with it in there, so they just had to get rid of it. But like, sense. Yeah, there was quite a tour of just like a waterfall of disasters, that Europe tour.
The footage will get released someday. No,
I don't know. Maybe, probably not.
No. Last two questions I have for you. We do a KRUX show called the Regional Roundup, where we only play local music. That's our entire thing. We go between here in El Paso, Las Cruces, and then up to Albuquerque, anything up in that band. So it's like a 4-mile radius, or 4-hour radius, I guess. And I was wondering,
what Albuquerque were you going to?
Yeah,
I feel like
4
it was
hours.
a long drive today.
It was, yeah, it always is. But I was wondering if you had any advice for up-and-coming musicians navigating the scene today.
I don't know. Just like, I don't know if it's good advice, but I think play in a band because it's fun to play music, play with your friends, and try and be supportive of each other, and don't like try to let like don't be overly concerned about the trajectory of your band or your popularity, because there's really only so much you could do about that. It could go away in a second, and if you really want to do something about that, it's just like, be a good band. And the way you be a good band is just have fun and like make music that you like, make it with your friends. And if you think it sucks, or if you think it's tiresome to you, like, stop doing it. Like, it's not like a cash cow. It's not something that you're gonna like is like, all right, if I put in X amount of hours, like, you're guaranteed gonna be like out there doing it. And even if you are out there doing it, like, that's the whole thing too. Like, so I would say, like, do it because you like it, and be supportive of other friends and other bands doing it, and like just the usual, like, trade shows at bands from Albuquerque if you're from Las Cruces, and like, meet some people and slowly branch out until like you're like, okay, maybe we could take the trip to like San Antonio or like Corpus Christi or something. Like, just kind of like slowly like expand how far you can go if you want to travel, but like, doing it through like building a community is nice, because then like even if like those shows suck and your life sucks, you have like new friends that you'll have forever, that like you'll have after your bands all break up potentially. You know what I mean? I guess that would be my advice.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, I play bass for a friend, so that's great hearing that.
Sweet.
Yeah.
What kind of band?
We're an emo band, a Midwest emo band, kind of. If we had more and better guitarists, we would be a Midwest emo band.
Just need 5 more guitar players.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone could play one note.
It's
very
fun.
Clean.
Our guitarist dad is the drummer, so.
Whoa, what's that like?
It's fine.
Okay.
It's fun. Cruces has a drought, so
sure.
So we'll take what we can get. And
hop
it's fun.
On in, Dad.
Yeah, exactly. I guess the last question I have for you is just to ask, since we are a radio station.
Yes.
What's in your regulation? What are you listening to right now?
Right now, I've been listening to the new King Gizzard and Lizard Wizard record. I've been listening to the new No Name record a lot. I really like the new Small Crush record, who we're on tour with. I always draw a blank with this. I thought the Super Violet record that came out this year is really good. My buddy Chris Farron put out an amazing record this year. I really like Pale Hound. I really like Soul Glow. I think those are some things that are in my rotation right now that I could think of off the top of my head.
I love King Gizzard. I'm seeing them for the 3rd time next year.
Oh,
so,
sick!
yeah.
Are you like going out to like one of the like a Red Rocks show or anything like that? Are they coming here?
They're coming to Albuquerque.
Oh, sick!
I saw them in Boston.
Yeah.
At Boston Calling Music Festival, earlier this year, and then I saw them at their 3-hour-long Hollywood Bowl show.
Oh, I was there too.
Oh, really?
How good was that show?
It was really good.
That kind of changed my perspective on like how you could do things. I didn't go in thinking that like I was going to want to be there for 3 hours, and I could not believe that like a band could.
I love
do that.
them. I listening to their records in studio and then listening to them live is an entirely different thing.
Yeah,
and it's insane just what they're able to do on stage.
It's
and a
cool.
lot of it's
it's cool that they could pull all that stuff off. It's fun to watch it like as a person in a band where like all of us have like a keyboard and we're all trying to pull something off that we can't pull off all the time. It's cool to watch King Gizzard also be doing that kind of thing. It's like, yeah, all right, cool.
Just mess around on stage, figuring it out. Yeah, it's fun. Well, I guess that's it. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks for talking to me. Thanks for having me on the radio.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Thanks
talking to you. Thanks for talking to me. And thank you, guys.
You're bailing me out.